December. What is it about this month? As per, injuries are playing a massive part in derailing our excellent form during the start of the season. However, you guys, I can't sit here and place the blame exclusively on injuries. As Tuchel rightfully said, the team's application has not been 100%. For me, we're a good team, but the reality is that we aren't a team on that level where if we're not applying ourselves 100%, 110%, that we can feel entitled to just win games based on our stature. We've been humbled recently. That's the reality. This month we've seen sloppy mistakes from individual errors. We've been seeing goals being conceded left, right and centre. Offensively as well, we're conceding so many last minute winners as well too. And for me, a big part of that comes down to the team's lack of discipline and team shape in those final closing moments. Tomorrow, we're back home playing in front of the fans, and we have to see a reaction. Now let's turn our attention to our opponents in Leeds United. Maybe they could be the perfect team to play against tomorrow to refine that form that we were showing during the start of the season. The reality with Leeds is that they rarely ever beat us. We have an unreal record against them recently. They're a team that like to play open. They leave spaces in the transition. And on top of all of this, they are suffering with their own injury crisis at this point in time. With recent news saying that Calvin Phillips will be out for the next few months, he follows a long list of injured players that includes Bamford. That include players like Cooper, Stojcic, Koch, and a recent new one in club record signing Rodrigo. So right now, Leeds United are here for the taking. However, in the Premier League and during December, is it really ever that simple? To give credit to Leeds, they are unbeaten in their past 6 games. Yes, they have included a ton of draws. However, they are showing adversity during these difficult times. And tomorrow, if we have any hopes of beating our historical rivals, we have to match that. And we have to play that game with a bit of anger because we've been flopping games recently on our own doing. With recent silly premature talk from social media suggesting that Tuchel's job now is under pressure, it frustrates me. I mean, I don't understand why context is constantly ignored, never applied, yet context is used selectively based on people's personal confirmation biases. It's just absolute nonsense. I'm not here to be talking about Tuchel's job being under pressure. It's mind-blowing to me. Tomorrow, I'm hopeful the team will put in a good performance against our historical rivals in Leeds United. In the match preview today, you guys, I'm going to break down Tuchel's press conference. I'm going to go through the predicted lineups, and to end things, I'm going to give you guys my match predictions, so I hope you guys definitely enjoy. Smash that like button, sit back, relax, and of course enjoy today's match preview for our game against Leeds. Now let's turn our attentions to the press conference, and let's start with the negative news. Of course, the current injury crisis is still the same. We have a new name on the list though, with Loftus-Cheek now being out for the game against Leeds. Now he picked up his injury during the warm-up session before we played against Zenit, and as Tuchel has told us before during the start of this month, this is the month where overloads happen, and with Ruben having to play so many games consecutively, it really is no surprise to me, so let's hope that he does come back quite soon. On positive-ish news though, Jorginho is going to be in contention to play tomorrow. However, as Tuchel stressed, he will be playing through the pain barrier again. Now we've seen in the past 2 games against Man United, and of course our last game too against West Ham, that Jorginho was also playing through that pain threshold. You know, playing in midfield where you're constantly turning and moving, you know, decelerating, accelerating, having to be physical, it's hard. So I'm not going to be here just saying, oh, I don't care, Jorginho should put in performance regardless. It doesn't work like that. He's a human being. So tomorrow, I think it comes down to Tuchel find the right tactics and tweaks to help bring that protection to our midfield. Talks have moved on towards the whole current COVID situation. As per, every time it's Christmas, everything spikes up. It's like the most social time of the year. So it's no surprise why so many players are now getting infected with the virus. Tuchel did say that the players have all taken their PCR tests, they're looking to stay safe. He's hoping that COVID does recover soon. And he acknowledged the current climate surrounding COVID throughout the whole nation right now, even though he's maintaining his same level-headedness. Now, one of the big talking points today was focused on the team's current form. I mean, yes, Tuchel was bound to have to give his reasonings behind, the past 3 games recently, with Tuchel stressing on the point that it's only been 3 games. Now, he's not making an excuse up, he's just providing some levity in a situation where normally when things don't go right, people are throwing their prams out the window and just like all logic and reasoning doesn't make sense anymore. Tuchel maintaining the same opinion of the players that their performances necessarily have not been bad. However, he is acknowledging and admitting that when you take the lead twice, when you're conceding 6 goals, and when you only take 1 point out of these games, of course, that is something you can't ignore, and him and the players will look to fix that. Stressing a point that Ruben made actually during the previous press conference against Zenit, saying that, the key to getting back to those levels now is to maintain the basics at the same very high level, which basically translates to the team having to show that same intensity. Positioning, team discipline. You can't be leaving your shape for no reason. You have to come back, you have to bust that gut in to help your teammates out. All the things that we're good at, all the things that we have been doing, we're the team that stops teams playing on the counter attack, and we've been conceding goals on that counter due to that poor team unity. So we need to work on that and fix up. And to end things, he did mention that Leeds United have had 1 week to prepare for this game, where on the other hand, we've only had 48 hours of training, and the reality is the players' stamina levels are not 100% because they're obviously human beings. So you guys, that is the press conference out the way. Let's now turn our attention to the predicted lineup. Recently, Tuchel has been forced to have to rotate the team. Personally, I haven't agreed with every single decision. I think against Zenit St. Petersburg, if you're using a wing-back system, the wing-backs have to be on point. Now, of course, as fans, we can respect that you have to protect your Alonsos and other players of that nature. However, in Saul and Hudson-Odoi, players who are not wing-backs or not great wing-backs at all, it's no surprise that the entire team structure collapsed as Zenit picked us off time and time again down the flanks, and of course, that just disrupted our entire defensive lines. So, against Leeds United, we can't make those same errors. It's going to be great that we can rely upon more consistent players in those positions like Marcos Alonso, for example, and potentially could we see Aspie or Reece James playing as wing-backs in the game too. You guys will find out, because right now, let's start with my first predicted lineup. For the first lineup, I've gone for a 3-5-2. In this team, Lukaku and Timo Werner to maintain their strike partnership. In midfield, Mount, Saul, Jorginho, wingbacks, Reece James, Alonso, and in defence, Rudiger, Silva, Christensen, and Mendy as well. Now, my reasoning for this is that it was actually quite exciting to see a tiny bit of a blossoming striker partnership with Lukaku and Timo Werner against Zenit. Could we see more of that? I guess we'll have to, because we're going to have to rely upon these players. Of course, wing-backs, I've gone for Alonso and Reece James because, as I'm stressing, if you're using a wing-back system, you need to use wing-backs, because the moment the wing-backs get forced back, it means that we can't play out, it means that we can't play in our opponent's half, and it means that we can get picked off in midfield. So having the big boys in those positions can really help us, and my reasoning for having a midfield 3 of Mount, Saul and Jorginho is that Saul, I guess, will have to play, and I'm hoping he plays better in midfield compared to wing-back against Zenit. Jorginho needs more protection in the centre, and I prefer Mount playing more deeper in this game to help out our build-up phase, where I thought against Zenit at times, when he wasn't involved in the build-up phase, he just wasn't in the game. And I think that was maybe down to the tactics compared to the player's application. And our defense, you guys, there's nothing to really say. I'm looking forward to seeing experts returning back, because some of the individual errors we were seeing against Zenit just never ever happen when the big boys are back in defense. So that's the first lineup out of the way. Now for the second lineup, I've gone for the 3-4-3. Up front, I've gone for Mason Mount, Lukaku, and Hakim Ziyech. In midfield, I've gone for Jorginho and Reece James. Wing-backs, I've gone for Azpilicueta and Marcos Alonso. And defence, the normal defence of Chris, Silva, Rudiger, and for me, Mendy in goal. I mean, to start with Mendy, I don't personally agree with Tuchel's take that he was lacking confidence. I didn't agree with that at all. Some of the goals he conceded were circumstantial goals that never happened. I don't remember any mistakes in the game at all other than that, and I just think that maybe it was a bit over the top from Tuchel, in my personal opinion. So Mendy is our best keeper. He plays that game. And now with my attack, I've gone for Mount, Ziyech, because I think Ziyech has been low-key one of our best creative players these past few games. He had an excellent game against Leeds United too last season under Frank Lampard, and I think at home where, we need to have that focus out wide with, how we force and pin Leeds United back. Having him and Mount roam between the lines could be key, not only for maintaining our high press, which is key. The moment we don't press high, that then trickles down to the rest of the team and the gaps start to open. And of course, you guys in midfield are going for Reece James again, who I thought put in a very good performance in midfield. I know people call him a regista, but I don't understand where that came from. I mean, we're not using one in the system. Then of course, wing backs have gone for Azpilicueta and Marcos Alonso. I just think that players that can play there, that know how to time their runs in the final third, that know how to time their runs when it comes to closing down opposition to win the ball up high as well. And the inverted runs too, I think some of these key details just really stand out more compared to seeing players that can't play there like Hudson and Saul, who couldn't do half the things that Aspi and Alonso normally do. So I think that type of consistency could help protect Jorginho, which is key, because you know Leeds United will look to attack him and press intensely and play their normal game. So I think us being more proactive in that sense could be the best way to defend against Leeds United. And that was end things, you guys. Let's end things with a match prediction. I'm going for a 3-1 score. Ambitious, but we have been scoring goals recently, which is a positive, I guess. And due to Leeds' injury crisis at this point in time, the quality they're lacking to maybe take advantage of us in case we make any individual errors, maybe we might concede one goal due to that, you know, the team struggling and stamina levels not being 100%. However, I think playing at home with the attacking players and options and firepower we do possess, and I'm thinking and hoping the team's hunger to right these wrongs for themselves, not for the fan base. You know, these players, they do it for themselves because they're professionals and they're, you know, they got big ambition. I'm expecting and I'm hoping that 3-1 is going to be that score. So you guys, comment below, how do you see the game going? What's your score prediction, and who's the one player you've got your eyes out for tomorrow who you think could be the low-key success of the game? So on that note, I'm Nini FC, this is Blue Line CV. I'll catch you guys later with some more videos. Cool.